You could
Welcome
try.
to Sunday Streams. I'm Tarp.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Ruby.
Micah.
And we're going to continue with Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney.
I'm going to be taking control for the time being, so I may meander a little bit because I wasn't here the last time, and so I was not familiar with what happened, so I may take it may require me a little bit to,
I talked to him all the way.
It's playing Gavin's theme right now.
Boop his
Okay.
hair. On the snoot.
They don't care.
You're getting called to be booped up the snoot.
I refuse.
It's too late. Brendan already did it.
Apparently Brendan already did it.
anyway. Thanks for finding this. If you found it under different circumstances, I'd be even happier.
I wonder what the Deuce was holding it.
Maybe he was trying to tell us something. Maybe that Prosecutor Gavin is the killer?
Yeah, forehead. Save your wild accusations for the court. I do so enjoy the penalties.
Yeah, we did show the key.
Okay. So... Okay, so you did Gavin's Troubles. No, song.
He also did the song thing.
The song's predictions. Again, bear with me, guys.
It's fine, man.
Take your time with it.
July 7th, backstage hallway.
Eek!
Who's there? I thought we already saw that. There he goes again! Who is that guy? Huh? Susie,
See,
let me have my burger!
see, this is what happens. You know, he did look sort of familiar.
So he is a friend of yours.
So this is the second time we've seen him. No, that's not it. Sorry, I don't remember.
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yeah, we haven't seen that scene yet. We did see him before.
Yes, we have seen him before, yes. I know. I understood the moment I said it.
Yeah. But the audience may not have. Ah! Where?
Am I in the way? That. Checkmate.
What has happened? I heard that Mr. has died.
Lemiroir, you speak? I mean, you speak English?
Yes. I was invited here from the Republic of Borginia.
Virginia. That's the place that keeps getting brought up.
But I am not Borginian by birth.
Well, wasn't Latus your interpreter?
All that, yes. Well, it was Mr. Latus's idea. But it would add to the mystery, you see.
Then your pianist is also...
No, Machitobaye is Borginia. He does not speak English. Now, please tell me, what has happened to Mr. Latus? Why did he...
Actually, Mr. Latus was...
Susie!
Huh?
Remember that what Prosecutor Gavin said? Not a word.
But Mr. Latus is Limoire's manager. That's not fair to her. I mean, she isn't
Isn't she?
Isn't she a related party?
Precisely who Prosecutor Gavin doesn't want to alert, I'd suspect.
All we have been told is to wait here in this room. It is very unsettling.
I'm sorry, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. Do you think you could, I could ask you some questions?
Of course. I am always willing to help.
She's as calm as she looked on stage. I can't put my finger on why, but I like this Lemiroir.
Ka-chunka-dunker!
What is it, Marquis?
Achi-waka-pataka-pa!
What? But you'd be alone.
Ar-ya-nga-nga. That's.
Hello?
Barely audible.
I'm sorry. I know this might be offensive to people who speak foreign languages, but
It's
I
not.
just wanna-
It's not a clear language.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I offend anybody.
There's no translation for it either. So
It's your line, by the way.
I know. What seems to be the problem?
Marquis, he is not good around strangers. He wishes to go out for a breath of fresh air. Would that be alright?
Sure. Of course.
Very well. What is it you wish to ask me about?
Okay, so before we do anything, examining the postcards.
Hello, Bearbat.
You see the words written on the postcard? They say a landscape painter in sound.
A landscape painter in sound? That's a nice image.
Right.
That reminds me. Does this brooch look familiar to you?
My brooch? Yes, well, it may be mine.
Yours, Lemiroir?
I was wearing a brooch earlier, you see. I must have lost it.
Well, that explains the brooch we found.
She stepped away. She's not here.
Oh, I didn't even see
I saw her go.
It was Lemiroir's.
Thank you.
No, she didn't even say. I must not have heard it.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything.
No, I mean, I saw her. You saw her. It's fine.
Well, I didn't.
He's
I
fine.
was right away.
It's almost as if I'm paying attention to a game or something.
Oh, I was wondering where I dropped it.
So this brooch belongs to her. That begs the question.
Is something wrong, Apollo?
What was this brooch doing at the crime scene?
Interesting.
The Republic of Borginia. That's in Northern Europe, right?
I've never heard of it.
I started out singing in a restaurant.
Burgers.
Then a producer called me. Before I knew it, here I am.
You don't say. You know, my daddy plays some piano in the restaurant.
This is silly. I hope she comes back soon. Producers tend to look for talent, Trucy.
Oh!
Shots fired.
I thought it was her talking, sorry. Lemiroir, you're not from Borginia originally? Were you born here? Oh, is that supposed to be a secret? This is a little loud. Hold on, let me turn it down a bit. Just a bit. Just the tip. I mean, what?
Want a tip? Don't wear so much cologne. Ah!
There we go.
Image is everything when you're a star. I know a bit about that, of course.
Yes, it is something like this. A contract, you might say. I'm also not to speak anything but Borginese in public.
Image is important, I guess.
She's not all image, though. Her songs are lovely.
No,
You need to say something when you leave.
I did. I said I'll be right back.
I thought you did. Everybody else said that you didn't.
Then again, I was listening to the game, so I probably didn't hear it.
I need to wait for a bit. So. a real landscape painter in sound.
Sound, yes.
It's hard to see because of
It
coloring.
is hard to see.
Yeah, so
A painter in what?
she travels the world, turning the sights she sees into music. That's the secret to your music's beauty, right?
You're very perceptive.
Oh, I use your songs all the time in my stage act.
Did you ask for permission?
Nope. I don't have to pay royalties for that, do I?
Stop while you're ahead, Trissy!
This landscape painter in sound too is an image. And without it, my songs would not be so widely heard.
They even call you the siren of the ballad, right?
Yes, in Borginese, la miroir means siren. I fear that perhaps already I am not the siren I once was.
And in French, le miroir means the mirror. No, seriously.
I know.
I know.
Machi.
I think you said that last week. Your pianist, Machi, was it? He's cute, like a porcelain doll.
He's very European.
I met him while singing in restaurants in Virginia. He is an orphan, yet his playing is exquisite. Then he came to live with me.
It's like a fairy tale, almost.
I noticed he hardly leaves. Oh, it's about.
My goodness, my voice got very effeminate all of a sudden.
I noticed he hardly leaves your side.
Yes, well, he is blind. At first, I hesitated at dragging him across the world.
He doesn't speak any English either, does he?
He had never left Virginia before we met. I made his presence part of my contract. Machi and I together are la miroir. Together, always.
Mr. Lutus.
Latus was my new manager.
New?
Yes, from 3 months ago. Around when I received Gavin's invitation to come. I met Mr. Latus at my office. He was to be my manager and bodyguard, and as it turned out, my interpreter.
Interpreter, even though you speak English.
Yes, we were to visit more places than just here. We had a concert in Japan scheduled up to this one.
They think this is a new the US.
Oh, right, yeah, right, yes.
Though I fear that may have to be cancelled now.
In the Japanese version, they probably mentioned Germany or something.
Or US.
Or the US, yeah.
Well, was Mr. Lutus from the Republic of Virginia, too?
Well, he was only with me for 3 months. I'm afraid there is much I do not know about him. And now I shall never know. No one will even tell me why he died.
I'm sorry. Prosecutor Gavin said we weren't to talk to anyone.
Mr. Latus was a talented man. The siren of the ballad. That phrase was his idea, you know. And happy for him that it has become so well known.
The siren. That's what he meant.
Huh? Apollo? Are you crazy?
You are the siren, right, Le Miroir?
That is the meaning of my name in Borginese, yes. It was the name my producer gave me. But why do you ask?
It's very important. I had to know for sure if the siren was you.
What do you mean important?
I'll tell you. You deserve to know. He's kind of breaking a contract right now.
Yes, he is.
Siren. It turns out that's a very important word in this case.
How? Apollo, you're about to to break a law.
When we found Mr. Latouche,
Oh, and she hasn't?
he was still alive.
What?
I heard him say something. His last words. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Ask witness.
Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Tell me, who was the witness?
The witness is Siren.
You said siren? Really?
I was the only one there to hear him, but I'm sure that's what he said.
Mr. Latouche said that. Ask a witness?
And you're the siren, Le Miroir. Did you see what happened? Le Miroir?
Might I ask, are you with the police?
Eh? Well, no, I'm a defense attorney.
An attorney? Yet there have been no arrests, yes?
Yet.
Oh no.
Is that a problem?
Does an attorney not work for a client? You have no client. You should leave the investigation to the police, I think.
But the more we...
That wasn't really a burn. It's more of a case of she's not wrong.
Yeah, I know.
I am sorry, but I cannot answer your question. I'm afraid you lack the authority to ask them.
Oh.
You need a level 2 key card for that authority.
Mother.
Ah! Why? It's like a Resident Evil game all over again.
No, it's more like Metal Gear. Ugh.
If she witnessed the crime, why won't she tell us?
You didn't see it. She was under a box.
I believe we are through here.
I believe so.
Okay.
Whoa! Who's there now?
Ah, it's you.
Hi, Emma.
Where were you?
Ah, Emma! Is something wrong? She looks grumpier than usual.
You bet something's wrong. The impossible's happened. Ah, it's all your fault, you know.
Maybe this is about us leaving the crime scene.
It is. What do you mean by impossible?
Well, it's gone. Utterly gone.
What? What's gone?
The body, stupid. What else?
So it is her fault. Eh?
Mr. Latouche's body has disappeared.
What? Is this because we laughed? Yes. I mean, it kinda is.
Ah, Prosecutor Gavin.
From your vacant stare, I gather you've heard the news.
I heard Mr. Latouche's body has gone missing.
Look for yourself. Quite the pickle. Quite the pickle.
He's not happy.
How can you just stand there? We have to start the investigation.
There's no need for alarm, Fraulein Detective. All entrances and exits have been sealed. The body will not leave the building.
Unless it already has.
So, I suggest we go find ourselves a cadaver.
Cadaverific!
There will be plenty of time to ponder the whys later.
Okay, so all in favor of using Apollo as the cadaver. Well, you seem pretty sure of yourself, Mr. Gavin.
Oh, we'll find him. I'm rather enjoying this.
There you are.
How could Mr. Latouche's body just disappear?
Maybe the mysterious guy? Well, you heard the man. Let's get searching, Apollo Edo.
Hey, I don't know if this is exactly the right time, but...
I went for a deeper voice with him.
Yes, Darian? See, Geeter's gone missing. It was in the dressing room.
It was more like a punk voice of
Who's
him.
Geeter?
Geeter's gone missing.
That's what I call my guitar. You like me?
There we go.
Your guitar was stolen?
This hasn't been a good day for good day for guitars or gears.
Yeah. Okay, body first, then guitar. And if someone finds that guitar, please bring it to our dressing room.
I like how okay, so you missed it, but it was priceless. Like, you know how you saw dude with just like front hair, and she didn't notice anything. The moment he turned around, just like
Yeah.
her face was like,
oh yeah, she now knows the glory that is Penis Shark Man.
she's like, what the hell?
Geeter's like a missing person, not lost and found, man.
I like it when he like laughs too. It's like
All in favor of shaving his head.
It's not gonna happen.
No, we're shaving his head. Does something seem different to you, Apollo? Like someone who doesn't have a shaved head?
Something is definitely different here.
Let's check it out. It looks like all the beams fell. Or is that just me?
No, that's just the way it is.
That stage must have been lowered before.
That's the tower that Le Miroir and Prosecutor Gavin were singing on.
Sun must have raised it. I don't see a way to control it from here. Apollo, what about that ladder there against the wall?
You mean the stepladder?
We could use that to take a look up top.
Maybe we should get Emma.
What are you talking about? We have to see this sort of thing ourselves.
Is this the... I forget if this is the introduction to him being afraid of heights.
I am not so good with heights.
Yep. Stop whining and start climbing. I'ma force you.
It didn't look that high from below, really. But when we got to the top, I felt every one of those 20 feet down.
Oh.
Of course, I wasn't thinking about the height anymore. Not after what we found up there. We found two things we were looking for, and one thing we never expected to find. The body, guitar in hand, and the pianist, Machi Tobei.
Oh no. I don't know why I have that in my pocket, but okay.
Somebody's like really messing with you.
Why is somebody messing with us?
Wow, that concert last night sure went south in a hurry.
No kidding. Why did they arrest Machi? Why?
Don't look at me like it's my fault.
It is your fault. You left the body.
Machi Tobei, the blind pianist, arrested on suspicion of murdering Romain Latouche.
I can't believe such a cute little boy who can't see could do something so horrible. He can't see.
Well, I'd like to point out something that was stated last week. He wouldn't be able to fire that gun.
He's blind.
Not even that.
Oh.
Look at his frame, and remember what they said about the caliber of the weapon.
He wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would have injured himself horribly if he had fired it himself.
Yeah. Right. What proof could possibly...
Morning.
Prosecutor Gavin?
How dare you interrupt me?
What a night, eh? I apologize for being so upset.
Gavin, you were sleeping in my bed with me?
I'm surprised you didn't notice.
I mean, it did feel warm and comfortable.
I mean, no one's sure where I was lying.
Hey, baby, I've been with everybody once. Wait, what?
You know what I said.
I'm too young? Mr. Gavin, do you know what's going on? Why did they arrest Machi? Why?
Don't look at him like it's his fault either.
It is.
It was tough for me, too. We performed together that night, after all. Yet, the powers that be say that, given the circumstances, it could only have been him.
Bullshit. What do you mean by the circumstances?
Le Miroir was invited from Borginia as an ambassador of goodwill. It is vital that this case be wrapped up swiftly. That's all the powers that be want, really.
Well, those are circumstances, all right. I took a shower before you guys arrived. My back is already soaking.
Oh, jeez.
But what makes Namachi the only possible suspect?
Air forehead. You seem to have forgotten that you're talking to the prosecution, the enemy.
Ah, right.
But you're friendly.
I think I like the side of Prosecutor Gavin better, actually.
I'm not at liberty to
Very
discuss
better.
the particulars of a case. Especially not to the defense attorney.
Yeah, but you help us out during court.
What? Did you just say? Me? The defense attorney?
That's what I came to tell you. He's down at the detention center. He wants to request your services.
Hey, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get your attention. You know how, what's the girl's name again? I forget now.
You mean Trucy?
Trucy. You know how she said she recognized that guy?
Yeah.
Just pointing that out.
You're lying, by the way.
He? You mean Machi? Machi wants me?
This is what we've been waiting for, Apollo. Let's go. Let's ignore my painting.
Right.
Good luck. I'm off to question Lemirwa.
Right. Later. I hope I'm up to this. Do we, check the painting later? After we're done here?
Maybe.
Well, I just don't get... I refuse to believe a cute little kid like that could do something so horrible. Terrible. Horribly terrible.
Terribly horrible.
Horribly
Terrible.
Horrible.
Harambe. You said that
Too
already.
soon, man. Too soon.
Too soon.
It's Proto Man.
Machi, everything's gonna be okay. We're here for you.
Hi. Maybe you can tell me about last night. He needs an interpreter, you idiot.
Good.
Huh? This is great.
That was when I realized how tough it must be. A little kid like this? In a country so far from everything he's ever known.
Maybe Lamar can help?
Didn't Prosecutor Gavin say she was with him?
Good luck. I'm off to question Lemirwa.
Well, what are we going to do?
That's, a good question. I can't think of anything we can go
Gold
on.
battery.
We can do, but go with this.
Sure.
And
Full battery.
no.
Where is the plug?
And hope for the best in tomorrow's trial.
Getting in front of the face of the camera.
Yeah, that'll work.
Oh, that's very hot.
All right. So now we're moving on to the first day of the trial.
Okay, is it? I'm hoping
The
this
flat part faces this way.
is. Okay, we're good. How can I?
Oh,
I
that's not a
apologize.
good sign.
What?
Because of how you oriented it, you can't charge it right now.
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a hole on the bottom. I'm just trying to find the hole.
Right there. Like the two arms are held like a U shape.
Oh.
I just need to.
There is a space right where the hole is.
I'm trying to find it. Is the thing? I found it.
It's kind of a pain. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
I got it.
Also, the camera's like
Hurrah.
wobble, 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 wobble.
I apologize for the wobbling.
Freaky inflatable tube, man.
Court is now in session for... How do you say that? Machi Tobaye, Your Honor. The pixie of the arpeggio. Right. His trial. Court is in session.
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The defense attorney.
The prosecution is A-OK, Air Judge. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. Ah, my opening statement, yeah? No, actually, there was something else I wanted to ask you about. Yes? Say you're going to visit someone in the hospital with an incurable disease. What do you say to them? Eh? I mean, you wouldn't say get well soon, right? You'd only be kicking them when they're down.
What are you talking about?
Actually, I'm going to visit someone who is terminally ill. Right after this trial. The Chief Justice's son.
Ooh.
The Chief Justice?
His son is afflicted with a most terrible disease. He doesn't have long, it seems.
Ah!
So I thought I'd go pay him a visit. I thought saying something moving might be the order of the day.
Why don't grown-ups ever just say what's on their mind instead of pretending?
Then you have the YouTube comments.
She's looking at me like Hey! What are you looking at me like that for?
Because you're good at this?
In any case, I'm a bit busy today, so let's wrap this up quickly. Prosecutor Gavin, your opening statement, briefly. You're in luck here, Judge. I believe you'll be going to the hospital, your hospital visit sooner than you think.
Huh?
First, to review the victim in this case. Romain Latouche, age 35. He's got quite the beard for age 35. The global manager for diva songstress Le Miroir.
Aiden, you're one to talk.
I'm 26.
And you still have an amazing beard.
Not as amazing as his.
Still.
I wish mine was half as glorious as his.
Can we stop talking about amazing beards right now? We all know that Peter Port has the best mustache.
Who?
Peter Port from Ruby?
Oh, yes.
He has the glorious mustache.
That's true.
And then there's Stash from, let's just move on.
The cause of death. Blood loss due to being shot by a large caliber revolver. This report has all the details. The court accepts this into evidence.
Oh, quick question. Everybody is free on the second Friday of August, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beach party.
Yeah.
I don't know.
45 caliber. That's quite large, isn't it? A direct hit from that could knock a man off his feet.
Yeah, he fell for it.
However, the bullet struck him in his shoulder. The damage to the body was slight. Death was not immediate. Sadly, his blood loss was such that he could not be saved. I suppose the victim's condition could have been much worse, considering.
It must have struck a major artery or something, because if it were, like, just a normal bullet shot, because it went clean through, it probably didn't leave enough lasting damage for them to bleed out normally.
It must have hit the superior vena cava or something
Or
like that.
something important like that, because, like...
Ooh, look at you with your fancy words.
Because surprisingly, all you really need to do to make sure that they don't bleed out is to, literally shove crap into the hole and then press on both sides.
Yeah.
Like,
I
seriously,
do not recommend
that's
anyone
what...
watching this shoves crap into a hole.
That's actually how you're supposed to do it, dude.
Two shots
No,
were
do
fired.
not shove crap into a hole.
One shot missed. The other penetrated and passed through the victim's shoulder.
I'm talking about clothing or something like absorbent like that.
Both bullets were found in the wall at the scene. Observe the diagram. This is where the bullets hit. I see. The court accepts this evidence.
I mean, obviously, nobody should do that unless they are actually properly trained, though.
If we're talking about a 45 caliber revolver, we must assume that the killer was adept at the weapon's use.
Well, it's a child! He can't even handle that revolver.
It's a trap.
That's your line, dog.
Oh, sorry, I saw her picture and I assumed.
He's not.
Yeah, apparently weapons that size have a powerful kickback. If, say, the judge tried to fire one, it'd break every bone in his body.
The defense will take more care in choosing examples. As I was saying, the victim was shot backstage in a dressing room. Boom. This dressing room has only one entrance. The door. This door. That does seem to be the case, yes. However, there were witnesses who heard the gunshots.
That's our poster.
No.
He's
Wait,
talking
oh,
about
no, it's
you
not.
and
Okay, sorry.
Emma, huh?
You replied to it, sorry.
Yet when the witnesses entered the room, it was empty.
I'm bad at UI.
Save for the victim's body, of course. But that's impossible.
I blame
Bang.
Brendan.
Exactly. This murder was impossible. For all but one person. One person? That is, of course, the defendant, Machi Tobaye. Only this defendant could have committed the crime? But how? It's quite simple. The circumstances of the crime scene make it clear. Very well. I assume you have testimony to back up this claim? Let the witness please take the stand.
Emma!
Your name and profession, please.
I'll be right back.
Emma Sky, a detective. I'm a detective for the police department.
She looks annoyed.
I was on security detail at the concert forum that night.
Emma seems tired somehow.
Security at the concert, you say?
From security I was. Couldn't even stop a murder.
Now, don't blame yourself. Things like this happen. I've made even bigger mistakes in my career, you know.
Yeah, we know. We know.
At least he admits it.
Yeah. I'm sure that makes her feel much better.
I want to hear about these bigger mistakes.
No, you think that's a big mistake? You should wait to hear what his Canadian brother did.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sure you'd like to make me feel better.
In any case... Hello, Chancellor.
Hi, Chad.
Because you were on security detail, the crime was quickly discovered. And we were able to identify the killer. You may give the court your testimony if you would. Describe the circumstances of that day and your discovery of the crime, please.
Alright, so I'm going to... I'm arguing this whole thing, because it doesn't even make any sense. A, he can't fire that gun. B, look at his size. Do you think he can pick up the giant fridge of guy that... Yeah.
Want blue?
I do.
Like, do you imagine he could pick up a giant fridge of a man that is Latouche? I don't think so.
You should just wait to see how they justify it.
Oh dear.
It all boils down to the killer missed one of his shots. He must have been blind. Or something stupid like that. I don't remember the exact details. It's like, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. It's not that I have bad aim. I'm just blind as a freaking bat. That's perfect logic.
Or, you know, the kickback sent the shot wild.
Yeah, because wouldn't a shot like that on a kid, like, dislocate his shoulder immediately?
Yeah, he would have lasting damage.
Yeah.
In fact, it would wrench his arm so bad he probably would have permanent damage.
Depends on the gun.
Hi, Johnson.
It's... Gosh, I forget what they're called, but it's a Colt. Like a heavy, like the biggest caliber of a
single action army.
Yeah, it's like the biggest caliber revolver.
6 bullets, more than enough to kill anything.
Damn it, Hilda.
The bullet was so strong it went straight through the fridge of a man that died.
I'm going to eat.
Johnson,
No. What?
did you see the thing I sent you?
Yeah, what about it?
The hard font thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Let's continue. Murderous circumstances.
Right.
The night of the murder, I was on security backstage at Prosecutor Gavin's request. Only people involved with the concert in some way were allowed backstage. At the beginning of the third set, I heard sobs. I went into the room filled with blaring rock music and found the body. I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it.
They revealed what the new controller is now.
Ooh.
It looks exactly like this, except the bottom is like a PS1 controller.
Ooh.
Neat.
And it has triggers, shoulders, and a trigger just like an Xbox.
Oh.
It was lucky that the detective was the first on the scene.
And the sticks are the same as this.
Ooh. But that door was the only way out of the room, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Also, the buttons are fully mappable.
How can they say that Mochi did it?
Looks like we need a bit more information.
Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination.
You can actually rearrange the buttons however you want.
Okay. I think I've seen commercials for that controller then.
It's the new 8-bit Do controller.
I think I've seen it then.
The night.
The night of the murder, the night of concert, right?
That's right.
What was the detective doing on secure detail, might I ask? If it was only a concert.
My thoughts exactly. But orders are orders, even when they come from Rock God.
Ah! Wait, why did you call him a rock god? I thought you hated him. Prosecutor Gavin?
Yes, allow me to explain. I smelled something that day, you might say. The stench of conspiracy. That day at the concert hall.
Conspiracy?
Well, isn't it obvious? My keys! That whole morning, no, that whole day was ruined! And it's all because someone stole my keys. I couldn't ride my hog to the show, I couldn't open my guitar case.
There he goes again.
Isn't it possible he simply misplaced them?
Misplaced them? Misplaced items don't just wander into a murder victim's hand on their own!
I mean, that's a good point.
What's this? Prosecutor Gavin, if your keys were in the victim's hand, that makes you a prime suspect.
Yes, it does.
Love, slow acting and new. Atroquine?
Atroquine,
Is
Just
waiting for you. I don't know.
He's singing something.
I don't think they're realizing that's probably what he was singing at the time that that dude died. Does everything with this guy have to be ever so over the top?
Yes. The killing happened in the middle of my concert. I was, like a sailor, adrift on the sea of sound. Anyway, I didn't want anything else stolen, so I put the detective in with the most time on their hands on the task. I see, I can accept that.
Yeah, he's got like the biggest
Well,
alibi. He was seen by thousands. I'm sorry.
Please, the testimony.
We're gonna get cut off anyways. Don't kill me.
Okay, guys, we're getting a little chatty now. Just saying.
We were let in though.
I didn't know about that. I certainly didn't invite you.
I gave the Fraulein special permission to be there. I wanted to see her again.
Oh boy, did you hear that? We're officially involved now.
Gee, great.
Some other hangers-on tried to get backstage, but I drove them off.
With snackoos.
So no other outsiders were there then?
And then...
Beginning of the third set, I heard shots.
I believe we were having a chat when we heard the shots.
You were the one chatting. I was eating snackoos.
And
I
fighting
still
you.
want to know what those
hey,
things
no
are.
snacking in court. And you're sure the shots came from the Miroir's room?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, I'm the one being cross-examined here.
Those snackoos look like dog food.
Here, this'll keep you quiet.
Ah, thanks. So, how about it, Emma?
We were right there. Hard to be mistaken about that.
Please, either talk or eat, not both at the same time.
Well, right, so after that, me and Mr. Lawyer there opened the dressing room door.
See why I like her so much?
Alright, I just want to state for the record, the prosecutor and the defense attorney should not be there because, conflict of interest.
Yeah. But Juicy's
Rock?
Blaring, yes.
When you say rock, are you referring, perhaps, to this rock and roll music that's so popular these days?
Right, back then, it was very timely to hear that kind of thing from old people, but now it just sounds really, really dated.
fine. Yeah.
That's right, when we were went into the dressing room, music was blaring over the speaker on the wall.
They piped sound from the stage into the backstage through speakers. That way people in the back can hear when they're supposed to be on stage.
Yeah, for cues and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did it have to be so loud?
You don't even... You don't listen to the Gaviniers with your ears. You feel it with your entire body and soul.
Oh my.
I always have the backstage monitors at full volume.
When we walked in the room, the band was playing Guilty Love, I believe.
Only a fan would know what the name of the song was. I told you.
Yeah,
He's
his theme song is Guilty, Guilty Love.
He is a closet fangirl.
Making it easy to determine the time of the crime.
If you could hear that music playing, then everyone on stage for that song has an alibi, including myself.
Anyway, I closed off the scene and started my investigation.
I examined the scene and determined that only the defendant could have done it. Alright, let's see you justify this.
How could you know something like that?
As I said, it was clear from the circumstances. Listen, we know there was only one exit from the room, that door. The small window only opened a tiny crack, and I was standing in front of that door. So, how could the killer have fled the scene? There's only one possibility, the air vent.
Ah.
But that air vent was too small. Who could possibly...
Exactly. There's certainly no way you could get through, nor me. The only one who could fit through was a child.
A tiny child.
A child?
Remember, access to those rooms was limited. Only those involved with the concert were allowed.
And of all the people involved with the concert, only one is small enough to be considered a child. The defendant. The pixie of the arpeggio flitted up toward the sky and disappeared from the scene of the crime.
But that's just conjecture!
Oh? There was no other way out of the room. You were there, you should know, Air Forehead.
Huh?
And there is another vital piece of evidence.
Evidence? What?
Marks were found on the air vent grill. Traces that it had recently been opened.
Cleaned? Wait, what?
And something else was found, quite clearly. The defendant, Machi Tabaye,
What? What?
I didn't press anything. It's
He does it on his own sometimes.
order. That air vent was the only way out of the room. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the grill.
Maybe open it.
Well, Air Forehead? What fairy tale does this suggest to you? Machi Tobaye making burgers on a grill?
That would be great.
Only one could pass through that vent, that doorway to heaven. And that one is our pixie. No, that was actually Apollo doing that.
Why are you looking at me like that? Hey, I was out whooping it up in the audience, going whoop whoop.
So this was his decisive evidence?
Quite decisive indeed.
Not really.
I believe that's enough of that.
Huh?
The prosecution has a rather convincing case. The only way in and out of the crime scene was watched, making the defendant the only one who could possibly leave the scene. Simple and decisive. I believe we've heard enough to determine our verdict, even if I wasn't in a hurry to make a hospital visit. I'm sure the Chief Justice will appreciate the gesture. Unfortunately, we have no direct witnesses. Fortunately, the crime left decisive evidence for us.
Criminal.
That will have to be enough.
It can't be over already!
Very well. I believe this trial is finished. If the defense has no contradicting evidence, the prosecution has presented our proof clear and plain. If you have contradicting evidence, it better be clear and plain.
Heck, Apollo, they've got us on the ropes already.
Present gun.
We'd better come up with something quick.
I know! Think, what can get us out of this? We need evidence, or a witness that can prove Machi is innocent beyond a doubt. Without that...
Mr. Justice, do you have contradicting proof that can overturn the prosecution's case? If you do, you'd better tell us about it now.
This is it, and so soon! If I mess this one up, it's all over. The court wants contradicting proof? Present evidence, call a witness. I don't have proof. Officer Gear, Gavin, you claim that there were no witnesses to this crime. Are you absolutely sure?
Absolutely. I'd swear it on my career as a prosecutor. And on my million-seller hit song, Atraquinine, My Love.
There he goes again.
Saying words that don't make any sense.
Yep.
That's too bad, because there is a witness.
Was a witness.
Was a witness.
Was is.
Oh, really now?
Whiz.
And how did you come to possess knowledge the prosecution clearly does not?
You're a wizard.
Because I am the only one in the world who knows this. What's going on? I just talked to him and now... He's alive! Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Witness.
You're cold, don't worry. You're gonna be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
Hang in there, Mr. Latouche. Please tell me, who is the witness?
Witness is Siren. What? The victim said this before he died? Perhaps he did, and perhaps he did not.
What do you mean by that? Well,
All we know is what Airforehead says he said. It's no testimony, especially since it comes from the defense attorney himself.
Yeah.
But it's the truth! He said it! I even told you about it! But apparently you ignored me completely!
It's my policy to fully investigate everything I deem relevant. Clearly, this rookie lawyer seems he can tell me how to do my job.
Yes.
That's enough. Mr. Justice, we need clear contradictory proof from you. This witness of yours, unknown to the prosecution. I hope you're right. Failure carries a stiff penalty. Perhaps a stiffer penalty than usual is called for?
There's no backing out now.
Let's hear the name of your witness, Mr. Justice.
I call Le Miroir!
Le Miroir?
Recall Mr. Latouche's last words.
We just went through this! The witness is Siren.
Let's see, we've seen the scene 4 times now?
4 times.
5 times.
The Siren? Aha! He meant the Siren.
That's right, the siren of the ballad, Le Miroir. Le Miroir was on stage for the second set. And she had access to the backstage area. She could have been a witness.
I see. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? My claim still stands. There was no witness to this crime.
You are on camera. Okay.
Very well. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth then, shall we? We will now take a break from Detective Emma Sky's cross-examination. Please show Le Miroir to the witness stand.
Le Miroir would say nothing the night of the murder. Not today, though. Today we'll drag that story out of her no matter what it is. Warm.
It is my distinct honor to welcome the Siren of the Ballad to our courtroom.
You are too kind.
Ah, you could speak English.
Yes. Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know.
You seem pretty good at speaking English, almost as if you're someone from Russian speaking Japanese. Volg Zangief.
What?
Oh, it's a joke from an anime we watch. We watch a show called Hajime no Ippo, which is a boxing anime. There's a guy that Ippo makes friends with later on named Volg Zangief. He's from Russia and says that his Japanese isn't very good. He speaks fluent Japanese.
Now who gets chatty?
I was explaining something. That's different. I'm sorry, but you're talking about a controller.
I'm teasing, don't worry.
The slack! Cut it! Cut me it! Cut me it some, apparently. I'm good at English, I swear. You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it.
Hmm? What do you mean she doesn't know?
Amnesia!
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, she's got amnesia.
I too thought to call her as a witness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course.
What's that?
La Miroir suffers from amnesia.
Dun dun dun.
Amnesia?
Metal Gear?
La Miroir is not my true name. Yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Whoa, she's even more mysterious than I thought.
As lauded singer La Miroir, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her, thanks to her success. Yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. I care surprisingly little about people's pasts. You have nothing to fear in this court, La Miroir.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness? What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened.
La Miroir, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet, that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand.
Oh my.
Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
I mean, I am the one who looks like a devil. I mean, I am the one that looks like a devil. So.
You have horns for hair.
Well, now that we are here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime. Oh, Judge, you sly dog.
Hey, when you get as old as I do.
You have grandchildren!
As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room, told to wait there. That was where I learned that something happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying.
There you have it. She saw nothing that night. Now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat and refrain from detaining her here longer than need be.
Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
La Miroir wouldn't talk to me the night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what.
I know well, since I've already gone through this case, I know exactly what the answer is because I'm keeping a note of it. It's at this one right here. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then explain why your brooch was in the dressing room after when the murder was being found.
The gasp.
I'm sorry, La Miroir, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not?
Why, that's La Miroir's. She was wearing it for her song.
Care to add that to the testimony, Professor Gavin? Prosecutor Gavin? Professor Gavin.
Just give him glasses.
Yeah.
Do I look like my brother now? Are you happy?
Maybe I should add a top hat.
Oh dear. What?
This brooch was found after the murder took place. At the very scene of the crime.
What?
Lemire War, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin has just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night. Did you see what what her veil symbol did when it was like that? It's a question mark when it's flipped upside down.
Okay.
Nutty?
Nutty.
It went up on her face.
What is the meaning of this? Lemire, please explain.
Lemire War? Ah.
She says English is quite difficult.
That trick's not gonna work here.
Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer, truly. But you have missed one important fact.
What now?
In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment.
What?
Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak.
Is she really saying all of that?
What's she talking about, Apollo?
Right when the incident occurred? Ah! Is she talking about that?
What?
Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup.
Right. Understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold, so cold.
7.
Weakness.
So
You're cold, don't worry. You're gonna find help's on the way.
The witness is siren.
Siren? How can a siren witness anything? Yipes, Emma, what was that? Who's there?
What's wrong?
Emma, did you see anyone just now?
Huh? No.
You're incredibly lethargic all of a sudden.
I could have sworn there was a door closed.
Have you been smoking?
Maybe.
I looked into
Want
the
some,
room.
bro?
Just a glance, mind you.
So this is when your brooch dropped. That explains that.
It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
But that's ridiculous! You only looked in for an instance, but you dropped your brooch?
Her forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in at the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a terrible voice.
Her forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed.
Ah!
I closed the door immediately.
Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony.
That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lemire Ward, you did look into the room, though, didn't you? Right? Same thing.
Yes.
Testify as to what you saw.
Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses.
Oh, hey, look, the ring is alight.
When my performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment. I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latouche's body was behind the wall.
Oh. Arms? No. No. Gotcha! The late Mr. Latouche's body. The late Mr. Latouche's body, you say?
Yes?
You know something more about Mr. Latouche's death than you are saying.
What?
I could see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. You can't fool my eyes.
It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latouche have
How do you know he was shot?
One moment, Lemiroir.
Head teacher.
Yes?
What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latouche have to be shot?
Yes?
She was hiding something. I knew it. Lemiroir, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony.
Eh? How could that be?
Take this! Lemiroir contradicted her own testimony, and I have evidence to prove it. Tell me, Lemiroir, how did you know he had been shot? Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, "No one told me anything about the incident."
Ah.
Furthermore, you testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known?
Yeah.
See? Sweet.
I wish they could have done the glass shattering scene.
Yeah.
That would be great.
But Miroir, you aren't hiding anything from this court, I hope.
That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Haha.
Ah, now I remember. Please allow me to add to my testimony.
No.
Of course.
Darn it, Kevin.
We all want to know is the all that we want to know is the truth.
Fair. It looks kind of pale, huh?
She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so.
Alright, so the last thing, I saw bullet holes in the wall, and Mr. Latouche had been shot. Wait a minute.
The bullet holes
No.
towards the door.
Yeah, they were against the wall at the door.
The door opens on the right side, so how could she have seen the bullet holes?
Not happening.
If it was just a peek, too.
Lemiroir, they call you the siren of the ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature.
Are you sure? Because sirens are pretty nefarious.
They don't tell lies, though.
No. But they are lying to you in a
Come
sense.
to us and you'll be here forever in death. Ah!
They hide the death part, though.
A put down
Not
worthy
really.
of our prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
The problem is, when they start singing, you have no control.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how they had to deal with it. Odysseus was going to steer the boat directly into them, but or was it Odysseus or was it Jason? I think it was Jason. I think Hercules was a part of that. They covered their ears and they had to tie Jason to the mast.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo. Stop being the bad guy.
Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah?
Come on, can't I be cool for once?
No.
No.
Observe the diagram.
Observe it.
Lemiroir, you looked in from the door for just a moment. Correct?
Yes, that is so.
There were bullet holes in the room, yes. But they were in the wall the door is on.
Eh,
You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen those bullet holes. Oh, point.
I love it. Her eyes just get covered.
Lemiroir,
yes.
I'm afraid the defense raised a good point. It appears you have been holding back something.
And I must tell you. I must tell you what it is that I saw.
Yes.
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls on you to avoid tarnishing it. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield us absolutely nothing.
But she knew how Mr. Latouche died. And he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lemiroir.
Very well. Lemiroir, please continue your testimony.
I don't know, I'm being silly.
Do, 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 do.
Mark?
Very well, I shall.
I shall not tell you the truth and keep lying.
We're doing 2 Capcom games today.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Maki. It was a grown person. I know it was.
Oh?
Interesting. So you did witness the crime. And the killer was a grown person, you say? This is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Air Forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination. Judge, stop trying to sound cool.
Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lamar. What's wrong? You don't look too happy.
This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong.
Eh?
But I'm going to cross-examine her for the halibut.
Oh.
So
Can I have a ginger ale?
So we're going to press on the one statement that matters, and it's about this grown person that she's talking about, talking a trout.
Talking a trout. So it's a trout?
There's only 1 left.
She can give it to her.
No, I mean 1 left after she grabs
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And there won't be any for like a week at least.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'll just have to bring extra.
That's your line.
A grown person, that's a little vague.
Very big.
I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was male or female.
It was a man. A young man.
And you're sure of that?
I see where this is going.
Yes, his voice was quite clear.
Voice?
Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you would have had a clear view of the shooter.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Latouche?
Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Latouche who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man.
Hello, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Maki. Wake up! Apollo!
Indeed. Listen, if this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion of this testimony? It's contradictory.
Apollo, wake up!
Though it pains me to say this, there's something about the Miroir's testimony that rings false.
Bravo, Air Forehead. You're colder than I thought.
I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could pass through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime.
But that means Lamar is lying. Has to be lying.
No.
Oh.
I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting.
It is as Air Forehead says. Yet, this is not the only contradiction within her testimony.
What's next? What's he talking about?
La Miroir, I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad, and lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean?
Apollo, what's he talking about?
How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that?
I recall the state of the crime scene quite well.
What the hell was that? The state of the room? State of decay?
Yes, and when the murder took place, that window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it.
What? But I'm sure. Hey.
Le Miroir, I have nothing but the highest regard for your musical sense. But my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
Objection.
But she's the only eyewitness we have!
So you say. And the victim named her, the siren, as the witness?
That's right! That's what Mr. Latouche said!
We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility. And it brought us to this.
Bang.
Herr Judge. Yes? The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please. I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility.
But if Miroir can't testify...
Then we don't have a chance of proving that she's innocent.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin?
Hey, whose microphone is doing that? Kai? Kai?
I can't hear anything, so.
I'll let it go for now, I guess.
You may continue making your case. Thank you. Now, where were we?
It's a donkey.
Donkey!
It's thank you, basically.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't have known how it was pronounced. It's German, right?
It is. Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I wouldn't have known that. Yes. I would like to hear from Fraulein Detective again.
Had when I was growing up, I had a psychiatrist who used German terms with me.
Mm-hmm.
Which is ironic because that's like poster boy like psychiatrist stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hello.
Wait, let me hear Le Miroir's testimony one last time.
But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as a need arises, this witness may leave the stand.
I'm sorry I could not be of more assistance.
Bang.
At last, back to the real trial.
Hi.
Ready, Air Forehead?
I hope I didn't just miss my only chance.
Fraulein Detective, how far had we gotten until we were so rudely interrupted?
Don't ask me.
I dislike saying the same thing twice, and I never repeat a song for an encore. If you would, Miss Sky.
I believe I was saying the only way Mr. Latouche's killer could have escaped was through that air vent on the ceiling.
Ah, yes, there was only one door in the room, and a witness, you, was standing in front of it.
That air vent isn't very big, you see. Kind of limits the people who could possibly get through.
I certainly would have a difficult time.
Well, what about a person who, I don't know, could dislocate their joints easily? Yeah.
You sure would. Not that you would have been there in the first place, though. Remember, the whole backstage area was off limits to people not involved with the concert. The only one who meets the conditions for a killer is the defendant.
A virtuoso performance. I couldn't have put it better myself. She does state a clear case. Though, reading the report, something caught my eye. Oh? What's that? The circumstances of the defendant's arrest.
Circumstances? Again?
Hey, that's right, Apollo. Remember when we found Maki? What was bizarre? That was bizarre. I was about to say what?
She's right. Why did Mr. Latus's body disappear from the room? And end up on top of that stage tower? Holding a guitar, no less.
A perceptive observation, Air Judge.
Thanks. It was kind of an accident, really. But you work in this job long enough. You get a nose for things.
I take it you don't want to play Mega Man 11 anymore, right?
After that, no.
So me and you are going to switch, and you're gonna have to give me some time to play because I've not beaten the game.
That's fine.
But if you want me to take Fuse Man stage, or if you want to do Fuse Man stage, because I've already beaten it before.
Sure.
Okay.
The judge sure seems pleased with himself. First
Very,
time for me.
very good, Fraulein Detective. Perhaps you could tie it all together for us. Why was the body moved? And how does that lead us to the killer?
It was because someone decided to leave the body unguarded, like I asked.
Speak and rolls coming up. The missing body.
I believe Machu stole the body because of some lyrics. He moved the body to match La Mirepoix's song. No one in this had a motive to kill the victim. And Machu practically left his signature at the scene. All of this evidence clearly points to the defendant.
What? That confuses me.
The Miroir's song?
Yes, the guitar serenade. You notice it's code too, did you not?
It's code.
All the events that day followed the lyrics to our song. First, the keys my heart held onto so tightly were stolen. Then
Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flames on stage. Mr. Latus's life was taken by a bullet.
Bless you.
He's in Hank.
The rest
Hi.
hardly needs explanation.
Okay.
Guitar, up together to the sky. That's mad!
It's like a story out of some fairy tale.
I admit I'd forgotten about the song. But there it is now, waiting for me, the grand finale as it were.
Hey, you know I was the one who first noticed that. So, give me something.
Give me some kudos!
I've heard of jumping rope to songs and counting to songs. But killing?
Yeah.
It's a wild world out there, Air Judge.
Killing in the name of a...
Very well. We've heard one song and dance. Let's get on to the next. The cross-examination.
I'm not so sure I'm going to be doing much singing.
Okay, so there's one statement that needs to be pressed on.
One statement? Yeah, that seems a bit off. Hello?
Oh, sorry, I zoned out. What do you mean by his signature?
The bullet holes in the wall, of course.
The bullet holes?
The revolver was fired twice. One shot missed and left a hole in the wall.
And that means what exactly?
That dressing room isn't exactly spacious. Picture the shooter facing off with the victim in there. They can't have been more than 5 feet apart. It would be difficult, almost impossible to be that range.
Difficult to miss, you say?
Very. Assuming the shooter could properly aim.
No, you can't be serious!
Look, he can't see! That's why he missed?
It's the only explanation that makes sense.
No, it isn't!
Dude!
Oh, you...
He used sound and other senses to fire the gun. Poorly.
That reminds me, the monitor in that room was blaring at the time, yeah? Hardly ideal conditions for tracking by sound.
A blind shooter? No wonder he missed.
I knew those bullet holes would come back to haunt me. Think, Justice, what do I do now?
Raise an objection.
Sit back and watch.
Raise an objection.
It makes no sense.
Sure, there were bullet holes left in the wall, but that doesn't prove the shooter couldn't see.
Oh? How so?
Well, there could have been a struggle with the victim.
That's certainly possible.
And it might have been the revolver's fault.
The revolver?
The revolver was a very large caliber, correct?
If the shooter wasn't used to firing such a large weapon, why? It could dislocate their shoulder.
Exactly. The defendant Machi Tobae is, as you can see, tiny. It's not so hard to picture him firing the gun and missing entirely. The kickback alone would be enough to throw off his aim.
A convincing argument, to be sure.
Haha! Take that, smug prosecution.
Apollo?
Huh? What?
That bit about Mudge being tiny and the gun throwing off his aim, aren't you kind of, admitting that he did it?
Oh.
It does not matter why he missed. What matters is that the shooter was, without a doubt, the defendant. Even the defense seems to agree on that point.
Ah! Cripes, I really put my foot in it this time.
Yep.
But, let's get the facts of the matter on the record. If you would, Fraulein Detective.
Fraulein Detective!
But the thing is, he has full mobility of his arms.
Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony.
I feel.
Right.
If he would have shot it, his arm would be like this.
Yeah, here's...
From the state of the crime scene, I conclude the shooter was blind. Now, this threw me for a loop for a little bit when I first found it. But the answer is the crime scene photo.
Oh?
You know why?
Why?
Look at above his body.
I noticed that.
It looks like something was smudged.
Yeah.
If the shooter was blind, how would he
wouldn't
have
have rubbed it
noticed?
out,
How
yeah.
would he have noticed that?
He wouldn't have tried to hide the evidence.
He'd just been like, job. Knew where to go somehow.
The prosecution holds that the shooter couldn't see.
A scientific conclusion based on a thorough examination of the crime scene, yes.
Yes. Very thorough. Blood.
Apparently not thorough enough. I have a certain piece of evidence that completely overturns your claim.
What?
This is that evidence!
The photograph of the crime scene?
I don't care much for the smirk on Prosecutor Gavin's face. But this is no time to think twice. Time to press on! Yes, Your Honor, the crime scene. There is something in here that decisively contradicts the prosecution's point.
Then perhaps you'd best show us this something. Get your finger out of the breeze and put it to good use, yeah?
Very well. Show us what you're talking about, Mr. Justice. The contradiction at the scene of the crime is...
The contradiction is right here.
Hey.
The smeared bloodstains.
I thought it was just my blurry vision. But it really was blurry. The way the victim's hand is raised above his head, much like a gesture to have seen I have seen many times in this court.
It's almost as if he wrote something.
Aha! I get it. At least I think I get it.
Get what, Fraulein?
When Mr. Latouche was shot, he tried to write something. And what would he write but the shooter's name? And what would he write in... And what would he write it in but his own blood? Pretty good, huh?
Thanks for making my point for me. Yes, in fact, that's what I think happened here.
As Butcher Destry put it.
That does seem to be a distinct possibility.
Miss Black 440, welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
The victim wrote the killer's name.
Watch your tongue.
It's
Oh, hey, look, it's Mouse.
It's certainly a logical conclusion.
Yeah, I know it's Mouse.
In the house?
Drat, I just wish it wasn't all rubbed out like that.
Of course it's rubbed out. Why, if I were the killer, I certainly wouldn't want to leave my own name behind. Neither would I.
Wait for it. No one has anything else to say?
About what?
So the prosecution accepts this. You agree that this was the victim making an attempt to record the name of the killer, and that the killer tried to rub the name out?
What's your point?
What's my point? Let me ask you this: how did the killer know how the victim was writing their name?
Well, Mr. Latus was writing something good once the killer saw what it was. Wait.
Once he saw what it was?
But what did you just testify about the shooter? It went on its own. She said...
That said that the shooter was blind.
Yet the crime scene itself contradicts that! The killer had to have been able to see! Why would they rub out the name in blood otherwise? May I remind you, the court, that the defendant, Machi Tobai, is blind. He couldn't have seen the shooter.
Couldn't have been the shooter.
Couldn't have been the shooter. Whoops. Seeing the shooter. Couldn't have seen the shooter.
Order!
I mean, I'm not wrong. He couldn't have seen the shooter either.
Please explain to me what this all means! I mean, looking at this photo, it seems quite clear that the shooter could see. Yet, up until now...
Bang!
It seems I owe the court an apology. The Gaviniers are a band with law enforcement ties, yet a murder occurred during our concert. Apparently, this caused some confusion over jurisdiction. As a result, some reports were not filed in an entirely timely manner.
I'm not sure I like the vibe I'm getting here.
Hey, Apollo, look at him. Why is Prosecutor Gavin all relaxed and smiling like that? Like he knows something we don't, and he's about to tell us why.
I've got an idea. Let's rock!
No.
With these documents. But before that, I have a question for the Fraulein detective, if I may.
What?
Tell me, why do you think that Machi Tobaye is blind?
Huh?
Oh, what did he say?
What are you saying? Of course he's blind.
Of course.
What? He's the blind pianist, right? So doesn't Amewara lead him around by the hand all the time?
No way.
Oh no.
I have a report here on the defendant, Machi Tobaye.
Oh no.
According to this, Machi Tobaye can see perfectly well.
What?
His blindness was merely a publicity ploy by those clever Borginians. He could see quite well.
But you said...
What did
What?
I say? Oh yeah.
My voice got...
I don't know why
My voice got so effeminate all of a sudden. No wonder I attract...
we all do it.
No wonder I attract all the ladies. No, oh, actually, that would explain why I'm attracting the guys now, too. What did I say exactly? Air Forehead, not once in the course of this trial have I claimed the defendant was blind. The only one who did was Fraulein Detective.
But that's...
A significant fact, yes. Consider, Machi Tobaye sees. And he was the only one who could have fled through the air vent. I see no problems with this.
But why the bullet holes in the wall.
Yes, the bullet holes. I believe our forehead neatly explained those for us. He didn't miss because he couldn't see. It was the kickback from the .45 caliber revolver. A simple accident, in other words.
Ah!
How's that? I'm afraid your objection has just flown off for better skies. Brighter skies. This is where the real fun begins, Air Forehead.
Yeah!
Stop over-dramatizing, Apollo. Yeesh.
I knew you didn't have what it took.
You jerk. Just what was I in here for? Comic relief?
Yeah, apologize.
Oh, sorry.
That's no way to apologize.
He's angered the Trucy now, look out.
Ahem. If we could please end the bickering now.
No.
Whatever, I'm not leaving. I can't leave like this. I'll come up with some clue to solving this case if it kills me.
But your testimony has already given us enough to convict the defendant.
Ah, don't say that.
Aha!
Aha, what?
The bloodstain. The criminal tried to wipe it off, right?
That seems to be what happened, yes.
We might be able to find out what was really written here.
Really? You can do that?
That's right, with this.
Luminol!
It's called lumina. Maybe you know of it? It's a chemical that reacts to blood.
Ah, yes. We have done those. Have we done those tests yet?
Ah, as if I'm going to tell you.
You big
The
jerk.
bloodstains covered the section of the carpet. In order to perform blood tests, that section was removed and submitted. Perhaps we should request it here in court now.
Right, go for it, Apollo.
What?
Oh, I have to do the test?
Yes.
You just have to spray the luminol on it. Simple.
A chemical that reacts to blood. I've heard of this somewhere.
Yes, I believe an analysis is called for. Have at it.
Great.
Right, ready? It's as easy as pie. Just touch the screen to spray an area. Here, give it a try.
Spray the empty area. The eyes of the entire court are focused on me.
Apollo, your hand's shaking.
Let's do this!
Spray it all.
The heck? That's not a name.
What's a number?
That's not a number either.
Numbers in it.
Yes.
Hello?
Wow, it really works!
This must be the power of science!
Of course! Don't you know anything about science?
What is this, Dr. Stone?
For science.
Lol.
It says IPXX314206. Is that the killer's name?
Maybe it is if the killer was a robot. Aha! I have it!
Eh?
So what is it?
I thought those letters IPXX looked familiar.
Eh?
This is an Interpol ID number.
Oh.
Interpol? You mean the International Police Agency?
Yes. Most are undercover agents working to solve international crimes.
Uh-oh.
But why would he write that number?
Why would Mr. Latouche even know a number like that?
Good show, Fraulein Detective. Rock on.
Eh?
Your Honor, we can verify this number immediately. Darian, where are you there? Come up to the witness stand.
Try to bite my finger.
Keep poking me in the face.
Darian, you heard what you need.
I only booked your face once.
Go check into this Interpol ID number. Sure thing. Give me 30 minutes. No, give me 27.
What?
I'm not sure what to think of all this. The prosecution's case is airtight, or so it seems. Yet if this number is really that of an Interpol agent...
Oh, wait, I know. What if Machi Toboe is really an undercover Interpol agent?
You know what? That's not out of the realm of impossibility.
He's got a point.
That would be a possibility.
A possibility, yes. And one that would mark him as the killer for certain.
Why did Latouche know an Interpol ID number? Unless it was maybe his own.
Maybe he was the Interpol agent.
That's what I want to know.
Well, we have some time while we await Darian's report. Let's work on unraveling another mystery, shall we? A curious mystery concerning Machi Tobaye.
What are we talking about?
Magic.
Fraulein Detective, please accept my apologies.
Fraulein Detective.
I received word that the defendant could, in fact, see just before the trial began. It seems too much of a bother to tell you.
You had me until that last bit.
Does this not raise a rather straightforward question?
Well, sure. Why did Machi pretend he couldn't see?
Exactly. It makes little sense. What do you think, Air Forehead?
Huh? Me?
Machi Tobaye pretended he was blind. Do you know why?
How could he know?
Wait, Rescue Gavin knows why, doesn't he?
He's known from the start of the trial. He's been leading us on the whole time.
Something wrong? Do you think perhaps this is all some kind of game? Know that the moment I heard that report, I knew why. I suppose people who have sold over 1 million records really are something else.
What does that have to do with anything?
There was a reason why Machi Tobaye pretended to be blind. But it wasn't for his own sake. Getting the picture now?
It wasn't for himself.
Well, Mr. Justice, can you present evidence that shows us why the defendant had to feign blindness? Show evidence.
Machi had no reason to pretend he couldn't see. Which means, no, it couldn't be.
Good show, Air Forehead. It seems you've thought of something.
Why can't I figure these things out on my own?
Because you're a rookie. It's only your first year. Give yourself a break, will you?
I hate having to take my cues from this guy. Very well, look at this. This is why he was pretending he couldn't see.
Remember what she's called.
Siren.
But there was also something else interesting about it. Sightseeing through music?
Yes. Can't see.
She's the one who's blind.
Oh!
That is Le Miroir.
Le Miroir and Machi Tobaye. Recall their relationship. In particular, their unique arrangement over the years before visiting our country.
La Miroir and her parrot and her pianist. They would always walk together, she leading him by the hand. Even when they got on stage, she would lead him to the... She would walk all the way over there with him.
That's right, because he was blind. She led him at all times, never letting him go.
But if he could see, then it's the other way around. All times.
Yet we've just learned something that makes their arrangement peculiar indeed. Machi could see. Why did they have to keep up this act the whole time?
Well, wasn't it part of their performance?
I think there's a simpler explanation. Machi did not need to be led by the hand at all. That can only mean one thing.
Really?
Really, it was all the other way around. The one who needed to be led by the hand was Le Miroir.
What's this? So you mean to say that Lemiroir is... She's...
Yes, Your Honor. Lemiroir is blind.
Well, what? Order. This is
I'm gonna duck
crazy.
this at you until you stop paying attention.
This is crazy, Prosecutor Gavin. Is it now? Please shed some insanity on this madness.
Some sanity.
Some sanity. Yeah, I corrected myself.
Bye.
I corrected myself midway through saying it. So, the defense has made an outrageous claim. The only thing outrageous I see about the defense is his vast forehead. Yet I see it as not vast in vain this time. This time.
Stop laughing at me!
He's quite correct. But that makes no sense!
Yeah, wasn't she supposed to be the landscape painter in town or something?
Well, since we have her here, why not ask Lemiroir herself? I believe she is still in the witness waiting room.
Apollo, what does this mean for our case?
Don't ask me. I had no idea she couldn't see. I hadn't even imagined it until now.
With a twist indeed. Bailiff, bring in Lemiroir.
Yeah, we've been paying attention.
Miss Black for 40.
It's Mouse.
Lemiroir, it pains me deeply to call you before us again in this way. And yet I must.
Please do not be concerned on my behalf.
Those eyes. She really can't see? Really?
It is true. How funny it is that a tiny lie born in the Borginian countryside would one day grow to entangle the entire world.
So you are?
Yes, as I mentioned before, I have no memory of the time before I became Lamiroir. Know too that my memories begin in darkness. The word light has no meaning for Lamiroir.
I see.
You may recall me saying something toward the beginning of this trial, Airforehead.
What's that?
I believe I said it was unfortunate this crime had no direct witnesses.
Ah.
Now, Lemiroir, I must ask you to stand once more. Will you testify to the court about your eyes?
Of course. It was never my intent to deceive any of you. May I begin, Your Honor?
Yes, of course. Though I admit, I'm a little lost here.
I think we're all a little lost here, Your Honor.
Lemiroir's eyes.
I have no memory of the light. I debuted in a world of darkness and sound. My producer came up with my PR line before he knew this. So silly as it may sound, I had to pretend I could see. Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
Everyone on your staff knew?
But this is a murder trial.
I apologize. It was part of my contract, you see. I was to keep my blindness a secret, no matter what. Music is everything for me. I never imagined something like this would...
She told us the truth in the beginning, when she said she saw nothing.
Very well. Does the defense have anything to add?
I'd like to cross-examine.
But what is there left to ask?
There was one thing in her testimony that bothered me.
Perhaps it is best we let you get it out of your system. Someday you'll come to understand the importance of thinking for yourself.
Very well. The defense may proceed. However,
be aware this court will not tolerate any questions deemed too stressful to the witness. We're almost done. This is the last thing.
Okay, there was one part that bothered me. Just let me ask about that and I'll be happy.
It was the final statement.
Everybody knew.
Everybody on her staff knew.
I don't think the bodyguard knew.
Everyone on my staff knew, of course, but no others.
When you say your staff, do you include Mr. Latouche?
Of course, he was my manager.
So he knew, and that's what's been bugging me.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice? I believe I know what is bothering our young defense attorney. You are thinking of when you discovered the body, yes?
Is he right, Apollo?
Yes, I was.
6. No, 8.
8
We're counting how his is reflected.
is alive. Mr. Latouche, can you hear me?
Cold. So cold. Weakness.
You're cold, man. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Help is on the way.
Can't see.
We have to get funny voices every time this scene is brought up.
Keep it together, man. We're almost done.
How you doing, Mr. Latouche? Tell me, who was the witness?
Jolly good. The witness is a siren.
I'm sorry, I had to make this interesting.
Ew, every time this scene is brought up, it's boring.
Mr. Latouche told me to ask the witness, and he named you. Face palm in chat. Scream. Why would he do that? Oh look, Aluna.
Yeah.
He knew you were blind. I'm sorry, that was chat saying that.
I don't know.
I know.
Tisk, tisk.
I don't know. No, I'm just saying that's what you said just now.
Don't please don't hurt me. Oh no, our car coming too fast to stop in time.
No, wait, you have to actually
I'm just
see it.
Wario. I
Watch
eat whatever
it
gets
more-
thrown at me.
It's empty.
Whatever. Grease is still grease.
What did I just say? You need to learn to think for yourself.
Meaning what?
There is no mystery here if you recall everything he said. Think of his last words once more. The witness? Siren? We've heard them many times, along with a little play acting by our defense. So they were miming that the whole time? What? I remember them well myself, but that statement is not to what I refer. I mean what he said before that.
Before? What came before that?
That's right. He tried to tell you. When he said can't see, he wasn't talking about himself. He was talking about the witness. I see. Too bad the defense did not. Well, Air Forehead, try relaxing and looking at the facts first next time.
Ah!
That face.
Order. Recall Lamirwar's earlier testimony.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There were 2 shots. Couldn't do anything to stop it.
But she couldn't have heard those gunshots. I thought we proved that. That is not the most important point here. The moment he was shot, Mr. Latouche witnessed her through that window. Why else would he have named her as the witness?
Ah!
But I really did hear them. 2 gunshots. And the man's voice.
Unfortunately, such a thing was impossible. The window was closed. We have already run a simulation, of course.
But it was so clear. If I heard that voice again, I would know it in an instant.
Your Honor! What is it, bailiff? Can't you see we're in session here? We have the results back from the investigation. Investigation? Ah, the Interpol number that Mr. Latouche left us. Well, let's hear it. We will continue this cross-examination afterward. Detective Crescent, your report, please. I asked Interpol about that number. I'm sure you'll find the answer intriguing.
Boop the Zyka, boop the Ruby, boop the Luna, boop the Mouse.
I've moved.
Quick work as always, Darian.
Well,
That face!
well, tell us about the number.
You're getting scowled at now.
Is the defendant a secret agent?
IPXX314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche. What? Our undercover Interpol agent was Mr. Latouche himself. He was apparently in the middle of an operation.
So when he wrote those letters...
He was trying to tell us his own identity. And a cautious killer tried to wipe them away.
Good,
Mr.
that means I have
Latouche was an
Zyka's
undercover
attention.
Interpol agent? So him being Lamar's manager...
was just a cover, most likely.
There's one other important detail I found.
Uh-oh.
Well, out with it. It concerns that .45 caliber revolver, the murder weapon. Apparently, it belongs to Romain Latouche. He had an Interpol permit to carry firearms. And the registration number on the revolver matched. So the victim was killed with his own weapon, which makes sense. It's hard to imagine someone who wasn't an Interpol agent with such a large revolver.
So the victim was an Interpol agent on an undercover op. I wonder how that ties into everything.
It's got to tie in somehow, you'd think.
Yeah, somehow.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Joanna. I'll be heading now.
Hold it.
Hold it.
Wait,
Le Miroir, is something the matter?
that voice just now.
Darian?
Darian, is it? It was him. I'm sure of it.
It was him? You aren't saying...
That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche. When I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darian.
Is this some kind of joke?
What?
That is shocking.
No way!
Look at the hair, though.
I know.
It's not just a pompadour, it's also a,
A mullet?
A mullet, yeah, it's a mullet pomp.
Of course.
The courtroom fell into such a chaotic state the trial had to be suspended temporarily. I've never seen that happen before. Of course, it's not every day that you get an accusation like that one. Le Miroir fingering Darian Crescent.
Phrasing.
Not only is he a guitarist, he's a detective. Could it really have been his voice Le Miroir heard? Things were changing fast, and frankly, I wasn't sure I could keep up with it.
Hey, no wimping out now, Apollo.
Bigger twist!
Alright, so we're going to take a very quick break, and when we come back, we'll come back with Persona 5.